We are on to the next draft profile.
The Seattle Seahawks select.
This is Brock Huard's Draft Profile.
You want traits? Check. You want a vocal leader? Check.
At the end of the day, you have to say, okay, what's best for the organization? Can you make people around you better, and can you bring people together?
Every day leading up to the draft.
Well, Salky, I'll say it again. Every time I hear those words of John Schneider, are you a vocal leader? Do you bring people together? Do you elevate those around you? Number 14 on my list is USC offensive lineman Jonah Monheim. This year he played center. He's 6'4", 307 pounds. I take a liking to him, and with these USC guys, I know a little bit more than I maybe do about any other guys at any other school because, well, my little brother's the offense coordinator there. And Jonah was a four-star recruit out of high school. Big talented kid out of Southern California down there, wanted by just about everybody in the country. He ended up going to USC, where first year he just played in the game. But his redshirt freshman year, he played 12 games and he started 7 at right tackle. His redshirt sophomore year, he played 14 games. He started 14 at both right tackle and right guard. His redshirt junior year, he played 13 games, started 12 of those at left tackle. And then after 4 years, had a decision to make. Do I go to the NFL and be a late round tackle? Because unfortunately, God gave me 30 and 1/8 inch arms. And 30 and 1/8 inch arms to the NFL says you can't play tackle. You can't play with those limitations at this level. You're going to have to slide in and play guard. So Jonah Monheim said and talked to and consulted with Lincoln and with Luke and his O-line coach, Josh Henson, who's put out a lot of NFL dudes, and said, what do you think? Can I come back and be a center? Can I just train myself? Because if I'm going to play at the next level, I know my size limitations, but I also know my brain, I know my athleticism, I know my game, and if I come back and help myself and go play center, and boy, did he ever. As I said, started all 12 games there, so that's 52 games played, that's 45 starts. What you see with number 15 and Jay Higgins, what you see with number 14, what you're going to see tomorrow with number 13, what you're going to see from me in these draft profiles is a lot of Howie Roseman. Play a lot of games, play them at the highest level against the best competition, and have a whole bunch of production. And that has been Jonah Monheim. Now, he didn't run or jump at the combine, but he did at his pro day, and he ran a 5 flat. 5 flat at 6'3", 307 pounds, pretty good. And the more that I think about Jonah Monheim, the name that comes up to me, and by the way, he's a 4th or 5th round center, so we're not looking at a 1st round center, a 2nd round center, a 3rd round center. What you're looking at is what John Schneider said yesterday. There's some good players, but are there great offensive guard or centers? Probably not. Jonah Monheim going to have a really high grade and be drafted on the first couple days of the draft? No. But is he going to be sitting there on day 3 of this draft as a kind of intriguing prospect who, frankly, when I sat down with him last year in our production meeting, you know who I walked away and thought he reminds me of? Max Unger. Man, there's some Max Unger to that guy. He is smart. He is bright. He is easy to talk to. He's a tremendous communicator. Guys really like him. He's the captain of that team. He was smart enough to realize in college that if I want to play at the next level, I got to look at myself in the mirror and know what I am and what I'm not. And even though I look like mankind, which he does a little bit with the long hair, I got to look at it and go, my profession, if I want to do this, is going to be at center. And I'm going to take the risk, and I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to have to learn how to be a center, and he has. And Max Unger did the same as a guard to center. But Max Unger was a bad athlete, Salk. I'm looking at Max's combine. Bless his heart. 6'5", 309. This kid, again, 6'4", 307. Max ran a 5.35 with a 1.8710 and only jumped 24 inches. Athletically, that's about as bad on the scale as you get. Monheim, a much better athlete than that. Not going to go in the 2nd round as Max Unger did. Could he play 10, 12 years in this league? Would not surprise me at all, would not surprise the USC people at all, and would be a guy in those later rounds that I would keep a really clear eye on. Just a talker, Salk. That's been an aspect of this O-line as well that we've talked about an awful lot, and that is not Charles Cross. That's not Abe Lucas. I don't know if that's Olu Timmy. I don't know if that's Sundell. Certainly not Bradford. Christian Haynes didn't strike me in that kind of way last year. Right, to find guys that like to be linemen, that like to talk, like, I don't know, Max Unger, like to be an offensive lineman, like Robbie Tobeck, like to be an offensive lineman, right? Jeff Saturday, like to be an offensive lineman. I was around some of these guys that were great talkers that just, elevated people around them and were, like, this is my livelihood. and I'm going to put my hard hat on, and I love playing O-line.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man, when you make that transition and that change, and you kind of have, frankly, that level of humility to look in the mirror and go, I could keep playing tackle. I'm better than our tackles here at USC. But if I'm going to really play at the next level, I'm going to really have to evaluate what I got to do. And if that means taking a step of courage and a step of risk and, like, let me do it here and see how I play at center. And he played at a really high level this last year.
Pretty cool.
Well, we really do appreciate you guys watching our videos.
And remember, you can like it, you can subscribe it, you can download the Seattle Sports app so you never miss a minute.